If you asked someone in 1982 which car would still be remembered over 40 years later, almost nobody would have said the DeLorean. It wasn't the fastest sports car, it wasn't the most powerful, it wasn't a commercial success. In fact, the company that built it collapsed before the car ever had a chance to prove itself. So here's the question: how did one of the biggest failures in automotive history become one of the most recognizable cars ever built? To answer that, we have to start with the man behind it. John DeLorean wasn't just another entrepreneur trying to build a sports car. He was already one of the biggest names in the American automotive industry. At General Motors, he helped create legendary cars like the Pontiac GTO, and quickly became one of the youngest executives in the company's history. He had everything: money, status, a career most people could only dream of. But John believed something was missing. He wanted to build a car without the usual corporate compromises. Not a car designed by accountants, a car designed by engineers. So he walked away from one of the biggest companies in the world to chase an idea that almost everyone thought was impossible. That decision would change his life forever. When the DeLorean was finally revealed, it looked like it had arrived from another planet. The stainless steel body reflected light unlike any other production car. The gull-wing doors made every entrance feel dramatic. Even today, more than 40 years later, it still looks futuristic. But appearances can be deceiving, because underneath that incredible design, the DeLorean wasn't the supercar people expected. It used a 2.85-liter V6 engine, producing around 130 horsepower in US specification. 0 to 60 miles per hour took roughly 10 seconds. That wasn't terrible, but it wasn't exciting either, especially when cars like the Porsche 911 Turbo, Chevrolet Corvette, and Ferrari 308 were already much quicker. On paper, the DeLorean wasn't winning. And that's where its story becomes interesting, because history has a strange habit. The cars we remember aren't always the fastest ones. Sometimes they're the ones with the best stories. Unfortunately, the problems didn't stop with performance. Production delays, quality issues, financial pressure, everything seemed to go wrong. Then, in 1982, DeLorean Motor Company went bankrupt. The dream was over. Thousands of workers lost their jobs. Only around 9,000 DeLoreans had ever been built. For almost everyone, this was the end of the story. But history had something else in mind. 3 years later, Hollywood was searching for a time machine. Originally, the filmmakers considered several different ideas, but eventually, someone made a decision that would change automotive history forever. The time machine would be a DeLorean. It was the perfect choice. It already looked like it belonged in the future. When Back to the Future was released, millions of people around the world instantly fell in love with the car. Ironically, the company was already gone. The movie couldn't save DeLorean Motor Company, but it saved the DeLorean itself. Almost overnight, a failed sports car became a cultural icon. And here's the fascinating part. Today, there are countless cars that are faster, more powerful, more advanced. Many family SUVs can accelerate quicker than a DeLorean, yet people still stop and stare whenever they see one. Why? Because nobody remembers the DeLorean for its lap times. Nobody remembers it because it had the most horsepower. People remember how it made them feel. The dream, the design, the movie. The idea that someone was willing to risk everything to build something different. Perhaps that's what makes a legend. Not perfection, not speed, not numbers, but a story worth telling. The DeLorean reminds us that success isn't always measured by sales. Sometimes the things that fail in their own time become unforgettable decades later. And maybe that's why the DeLorean never really disappeared. It simply stopped being just another car and became part of history.